So I just took a look at some of the thumbnails back in the day that I used. So I was using AI, um, the thumbnail, to to generate images from my thumbnails a little bit. Then I got lazy and I just didn't care because I was like, nobody's not getting any growth. Not many people are viewing my videos, so there's no point to put in like any type of effort. But so I've been using AI on the um, thumbnails now, and you can see it's so much better. All you gotta do is like scroll down for like 2 years ago, um, and you'll be able to see like the difference of how much AI has improved. And this is what I'm saying is that's 2 years, and things are evolving very quickly. Like the world we're about to live in the next 5-10 years is going to be is going to be so different than what we're used to right now. um it's going to feel like these social medias how we use social media now is going to feel like um how cable had like three channels. Like this is before I was born. Like they had only black and white TV. That's how it's going to be in the future. Because it's just getting so much better, so much more realistic, um, and such a rapid pace. And it's so hard to try to figure out how our society. What I think is what I hope for is we go to an age of abundance, so we don't have to. We can get rid of this notion of being our identity is our job. And this is where I really don't fit in. I feel like I'm so far ahead of everybody. I always felt like I'm living ahead. I'm ahead. Not that I'm better than anybody. Like I just I always felt like I'm ahead. Like being an introvert and everything like that, and how seeing how much it's blowing up. Um, to, to, to people's whole purpose is their job. A lot of people, and if that's your mentality, I I think that like there's going to be places in different like production lines or whatever, wherever the robots do our jobs. At some point, I might not be alive when that happens, where everything is just going to be produced by robots, everything physical. But you might be able to go in there, and I think that you're going to be able to go see how things are done, and then like go be able to participate on some type of small level. Just like I think that people are going to be able to move and travel very quickly. I'm not sure about the whole like teleportation type of deal. I think that we can use the digital, you know, our digital, like instead of like having to physically go to Paris, I can just experience it digitally. It's gonna get so realistic because there'll probably be like worlds where it replicates how it is right now. There'll probably be worlds where you can go and it'll be how it was 50 years ago or 300 years ago, and you'll be able to move like super quick. You'll just be able to like teleport um, digitally. Physically, I don't think that that's going to happen, but instead of like having to um you know pack and travel, I don't know, five, like whatever it might, you might just go to space and come down, and instead of it taking 18 hours to fly, you know how like people used to use ships and it took them months to get across the ocean. Well, now it takes like 18 hours on a plane. We'll probably end up going into space and coming back down, and it'll take like so much quicker. It'll be like 5 hours. Well, instead of doing that, I can just like experience digitally with people that don't even, I might have family that don't live by me, or friends that don't live by me, but we can be in the digital world and we can like interact and it feel real. The Matrix. I listened to some of these guys talk, like these really sophisticated people. I think like Ray Dalio, and um, there's this podcaster. I forgot his last name, but he's got a big podcast. And with the augmented reality, with the glasses that we'll be using, and you'll be able to make, instead of like physically decorating for Christmas or whatever, you can just make it like all the time. Like, I like the Christmas season. I really like it. And it would be cool if it's like looking like it's snowing, or like I go outside, and when I have the glasses on, it looks like everything's decorated. Everything looks like it's all like you can still have the structures how they are, but like they're all decorated a certain way, like Halloween. Or it's gonna get really weird for people, and I don't think that they understand. I hope that people can adapt, and if you're struggling for purpose, it's connecting with other humans. And we're going to need communities that people can go to and connect with like-minded individuals. We're going to need physical communities where you can connect with people physically too. I think society will probably like reorganize. So you'll have like, in reality, you'll have different communities, like different cultures, instead of it kind of being all mixed up how it is right now, where it's not really, you want it's, yes, you want it to be like physically, you want it to be like an echo chamber, so you feel trustworthy, like you feel people are trustworthy, you're on the same type of beliefs, like, okay, so if I was a gay man, well, I want to live somewhere where there's a bunch of gay people. Like, I don't want to live somewhere where there's no gay people. If I'm Christian, I want to live somewhere where there's a lot of Christian people around me, and that's where I want to live. Same thing if I was Arabic, or any other thing. I want to live around people who share this, but like, I want to be able to travel and go to different and experience different communities and different cultures as well. And that's cool. That's why people travel anyway. They want to, like, when people travel, they're like, oh, I want to see what it's like in China. It's not just like, oh, the wonders of the world. They want to experience like what it's like over there, like how people live their lives. And instead of having to work all the time, like, if you want, you probably can. You can go work with the robots. Um, but it's almost like you're living. You're not gonna have to. You can live any way you want. You can just like be putting on like living that lifestyle. Like, I think that you'll see like communities where it's like, I want to go back in the 90s, and everyone's going to be like dressed in the 90s. Everyone's going to be dressed like in the 1930s. There'll be all different types of communities. You'll be able to just be like, This is where I want to go. This is what we should do. There should be community. That's why I say that if people want to segregate themselves on race, let them. Like, go ahead. Like, you can separate yourself. If you want to segregate yourself, go ahead and create your own. That's cool. Um, and it should be and the other way too. Like if there's communities where people don't want to go, people want to have mixed race. That's cool. Like we are right now. There should be communities like there is now. There should be all different types of communities for like where you want to live. Like I want to live like back in the 90s where it's like it's Blockbuster, you know what I mean? And I want to have like physical copies. I don't want to live like I want to have some like new types of technology where I can go to the store. I don't have to work. It's just like it's taken care of. It's almost like what people have to understand is when people, I was explaining this to my kid, we were walking to the gym. I explained this to my kid like 200 years ago, before the Industrial Revolution, or was it whatever, before the Industrial Revolution, most people's whole purpose was farming, was living off the land. How many of us do that now? Hardly any of us. Most of us, if we did have a social collapse, a societal collapse, we would mostly all of us would die. Even if like you're really, really good at living off the land, chances are you probably wouldn't make it either, because we'd have roving bands and stuff of bad people. But look at how people's purpose has changed now. Now things are kind of, people feel like purposeless. That's because they don't have like the carrot at the end of the stick. And they feel like disconnected from humans. That's what it is. Like there's like a complete disconnection. That's the big problem. People aren't having kids. People aren't getting married. People aren't having relationships. Just one guy has like all the women. But yeah, it's just like I want to live in a community, and then you feel like I don't want to live in this community. I want to switch it up. But you'll have people like me who like wander. Like I would just like if I make it to that point, I would like wander. Like I would go to different communities. Like I want to experience this for a while. Like I would like to have the community I can go back to. But I'm not gonna be like, people will be. They'll be getting together in person. There'll be communities, things that they can do in person, and not just in person, but they'll be able to do things like in the virtual reality as well. So people have. I think a lot of the communities will have like the digital reality still. And I think they'll have some things that are modernized. It's not going to be like back exactly how it was back in the day. It might be like a replica of how it was, but it'll be like better. Instead of having a CD player, like people walking around with like a CD player. Like I used to have a CD player. And before that it was a Walkman. Well, like when I had my CD player, and that was like the cool thing. It sucked too because it would skip. Like I'm listening to a song and then like I didn't want to move it because it would skip. Well, now I got earbuds that are wireless, so like you probably still have like something that looks like a Discman or something like that, but it's kind of like your little computer, like your cell phone. You'll have stuff like that. Like it's innovated. I know it sounds weird, but it's like the nostalgia. So you'll be able to make like things that were existed back then. Like people, I want things to be like a CD. So I want to be able to. Maybe it's not like, okay, like the Blockbuster. Like this is the big thing people like miss about Blockbuster. The cool thing about Blockbuster was being able to see what was new. Like you would go and see what new movies were out or like new video games, and the problem was like sometimes they were all out. Well, people like to browse. So like that was part of the experience of Blockbuster, is being able to browse and being able to browse with people, and um instead of having everything like we have to search for everything we want. Um, Having things kind of hand picked, kind of like Tubi, or Netflix or whatever, where you're searching through, but like going there physically and then looking at the wall. Like I said, maybe you don't actually get the DVDs, or maybe you do. But having, I made a video before this or the one before that talking about like reruns. Well, people like to have some things done for them, like the algorithm. They don't want to have to like search everything all the time. They just kind of like, you look at your YouTube algorithm. It's like you refresh and you kind of scroll down. Like this is what I do. I scroll down a little bit, and like I don't keep scrolling going to the next page or whatever. I'll scroll down until I see something that catches my eye. That's kind of like how Blockbuster was. Is you be going there physically and like having it right there in front of your face. You don't. It can be like updated, but so like everything's on the wall physically, and that's what people like. They want everything on, to be able to experience in the environment, not just to see it on a screen. To be able to go somewhere and just browse and see what they have. I remember even the ones that like, yeah, I would always go look at the new stuff that came out, but then I would like, sometimes you would go and go down the aisles where the old stuff is and go look through these. Oh, that's it's just like, what's going to spark my interest? Instead of just looking at the red box. I think red boxes are pretty much outdated at this point, but or the Netflix. You want to be able to do that in person to some extent, instead of just you want to be able to walk around. You don't want to just like one screen, one station, like a red box. You want to be able to go into a place and walk around and look at stuff, and walk around with people you care about and check things out. Hey, let's check this out. Let's watch this movie later. Instead of just kind of like you're just sitting here at home scrolling through the Netflix. That doesn't. It's too accessible. But the experience is being able to have that environment, and that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna be able to do that type of stuff. Go back to that type of stuff. And it just depends. I think all you'll be able to go to these different communities that try to keep things authentic. Like these different communities, like let's just say like the Amish. Look at the Amish community. No power, you can go and live in that community if you want. These communities will basically like they'll be LARPing. That's what they'll be. It's like, so I'm living I want to live in a community that's like the 1930s. So everybody's dressed in 1930s. Everybody's talking like the 1930s. It's that theme. And that's what like a lot of people's purpose will be, to live like that, even if it's like feels like it's fake or whatever. I want to live in the Old West. So you have people. And you'll probably, and the funny thing too is you're gonna have robots too. some of these places will be like robotic, like you'll have like cities of just robots like doing this, like not just people, but you'll have robots pretend like the robot is serving you, like you're in Old West or whatever, and you went to a bar and the robot serving, it looks like a real human or whatever. It's not just like some, it looks like a real human. So and then the people walking, you won't be able to tell if they're like because you want fill-ins. If you don't, if you have like a community where there's not a lot of humans, and you'll be able to see, you'll be like, is there a lot of humans here, is there not? Yeah, and you know, it'll just it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be crazy, if we get to that point, and we're branching out, and you'll see this. It's just these different themes, and then we'll have new themes too. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's gonna be. There's a lot of crazy stuff's about to happen.